If you've ever been curious about how to spot flipping potential in thrift store furniture, hopefully today I can fill you in on that part of the process. I'm all out of projects that I can work on right now, so I'm about to go treasure hunting and see if I can find a few pieces that have amazing transformation potential. I get most of the furniture that I flip these days from local thrift stores because I live in such a rural area now that shopping on Facebook Marketplace isn't always easy or practical. But my first stop today is going to be Value Village. They don't have a huge furniture department in this store, but sometimes there are treasures to be had. The first thing I saw was this art print that I absolutely loved, but that's not what I'm here for. Into the furniture. This vintage bed was adorable, and they had it priced at just $15.99 for the twin size head and footboard, but I didn't see any side rails or support frames with it. It could make a good project piece to refinish or update for your own home, but as far as resale goes, I always like to think of market appeal. Are vintage beds currently on trend and popular? Yes. But is it something that people are looking to spend enough money on to have it sell quickly and make it worth the effort? In this case, unfortunately, because it's only a twin and the buyer couldn't just pop their own mattress in there, I don't think you get much bang for your buck. Tucked under this rack, I spotted a gorgeous rocker. They had it priced at $79.99, which in my opinion is a bit outrageous for what it is and the condition it's in, even though it's a beautiful piece. I knew it wasn't going to be for me because of all the upholstery work. It's just not something that I have the experience to tackle, and it can get really expensive too. But every single joint on this thing was separated. It could be fixed, but it won't be by me. Something I always stop to look at are matching sets of nightstands or end tables. I never bother with singletons unless I find them in the trash, but you can usually get a decent profit out of a good pair. Again, if it's something that fits into that market appeal category. These are a little too country for me, but they're a good example of how oftentimes furniture isn't quite what it seems. From a glance, they look like they might be solid oak, and they definitely need a refinish. But if you flip them over, you can see that the tops are mostly particle board with a very thin sheet of oak veneer over top. I think I'd be lucky to resell these fixed up for more than $150. So factoring in the time and cost of materials to do that, it's just not worth it. There wasn't much else to see in there, so I headed to my next stop. I spend a lot of time shopping this Habitat for Humanity restore because I can usually find some decent deals. Another set of these tables, these ones have drawers and they've got them priced at $20 each. Someone has already had a go at refinishing the tops, which doesn't look like it turned out too well. But again, looking underneath, I can see that these are particle board with some solid wood trim. That's not a bad thing, by the way. Most modern furniture is constructed this way. It's just something you want to know before you start working on them so you can adjust your methods accordingly. This is a funky 80s piece. I love the kind of campaign style hardware on here. And while I don't have any issue working on this kind of stuff, again, you want to know that this is all particle board furniture, and you can feel and see if you look closely at the wood grain on here that it's just a papery sticker. Still called veneer, but it's a thin sheet of plastic instead of a thin piece of real wood. Because of the size of this dresser and its potential to be made over into something that looks like a trendy shaped mainstream piece, I could probably resell this in the $500 to $600 range, but they're asking $200 for it right now, and that seems like too high of a buy-in for today. I know they'll lower that in a few days too if it doesn't sell. Here's a solid maple dining table with a sweet scalloped edge design. I've actually already made over one of these, and at $40, it would be a good buy. I think with a refinished wood top and painted legs, it could resell for $250, maybe $300, and it wouldn't take too long to do. But it doesn't have the extra leaves to extend it anywhere nearby, so maybe not. This is a beautiful Duncan Fife style drop leaf table priced at $80. It needs some serious love though, and I don't know how many people would be interested in it without any coordinating chairs. It's got some bad veneer lifting and a lot of wear on the center section. These side panels just pop up though for extra seating. This would be a neat restoration project, but it's not what I'm looking for today. I spotted another set, some mid-century modern style nightstands that look like someone already started on and gave up after doing all the hard work of stripping some white paint. $40 a piece seems high for these, even with the extra 25% off the pink tag. With the grain of this maple or birch, I'm not sure which one, I don't think they'd ever look great stained. I think with the shape and size of them too, they'd probably be best suited for a kid's room, repainted with some more mid-century modern appropriate hardware. And I could probably resell a set like these for $300 to $350. They're okay, but I think we can do better. I did end up buying this random metal mailbox for $2 for absolutely no reason other than I loved the scalloped edge on it. I don't need a mailbox, I can't resell a mailbox, but sometimes you just want the challenge of making something cute again. I don't know. On to the next store. Enviro Plus is another frequent stop of mine because they've always got a great selection. They actually clean everything and make any minor repairs when furniture comes in. And they're just a fantastic local charity that actually teaches people some valuable employment skills. Lots of full dining sets, but I can't fit those in my vehicle right now, so I skipped right past them. This big mid-century modern dresser was the first thing to catch my eye in here. The market for MCM furniture has been really strong for the last few years and isn't showing any signs of dying down again anytime soon. So even though they've got this priced at $175, it's something that I think I could resell in the $600 to $700 range. I always take a look inside the drawers to see how they're constructed. These have dovetail joints, which is an indication of quality, and little separations like this are usually easy to fix with some new glue. And if you're lucky, you'll also find a maker's mark in here. This is a Bassett, which is a well-known brand name. The drawer fronts and sides on this thing look like wood veneer, but the top is laminate. So as much as I want to just restore the original finish on something like this, the laminate top either means a paint job or going to the expense of adding a matching wood veneer to the entire top, which would severely cut into any profit. Some more MCM in a matching low boy, tall boy set here. This purple finish is awful, and the tops have already been painted over. I assume because they're also laminate and had some damage. The curved drawers on here are plywood, and I couldn't see a maker's mark, which would make me feel more comfortable about using paint to update these. I just didn't love their shape. There was too much going on for me for an MCM style, and I couldn't picture how to fix that. Speaking of too much going on, I am strangely always drawn in by this style that ranges from the late 60s all the way through the early 80s. They're always ornate with big chunky details that, like this one, are usually molded plastic and not actual wood. I really like the size of this though, and I could instantly picture it with some of the junk removed from the doors, more contemporary hardware, and painted in a fresh color. It's really clean. All the drawers work well, and it doesn't look like it needs any major repairs, which means a faster flip. Less time invested also means a better profit margin. Here's another piece in a similar style. I think if I picked this up, I'd be taking all of the extra trim and molding off of here. I don't think there's much of a market for columns at the moment, but under all of this is a nice, simple piece of furniture that could use a fresh paint color and some modern hardware to bring it back to date. It's oak veneer over top of particle board, which I can clearly see if I look at the back. It's also got a brand name and dovetail drawers under the stain. This would be a $600 to $700 seller in my area too. This little treasure has already been made over, but I think it could be better. It's definitely an antique, probably 1890s to 1910s. The dovetails look machined and not hand cut, so it wouldn't be older than that. But it looks like someone has sanded it all the way down and then put a gel stain over everything that's super streaky and doesn't show the actual grain of the wood at all. It needs some replacement escutcheon plates, the keyhole covers, and the handles on here are not what it would have had originally. Wait a minute, I didn't see it until I got just the right lighting. Is that quarter sawn oak? Oh my goodness. Oh, I think I have to get this one. I ended up not bringing this one home with me today because I don't think the top or the sides are oak, but I might go back for it after I have a chance to think on it for a bit. This one looks like tiger or quarter sawn oak, but it's actually a faux finish or lithograph print of tiger oak that's been applied over top of a cheaper wood, probably maple. This was really popular, again, at the beginning of the 20th century, and this one looks like someone brushed a layer of polyurethane, probably as an attempt to protect the deteriorating finish, and it's had a reaction to the original finish and caused this alligator skin to happen. Unfortunately, this finish is pretty hard to restore because all of the pattern has been printed on top of the wood. Another MCM guy here with another laminate top. The drawer fronts appear to be solid wood, but whatever wood that is hiding under the laminated wood grain picture that matches the plastic laminate on the top. No dovetails or maker's mark, but I think it would be a good piece for a paint and stain combo. It's a contender. This French provincial dresser is gorgeous, and this style seems to have made a huge comeback lately, but usually in a different color scheme than the traditional white and gold. It works really well with the sweet, girly, coquette style or in Bridgerton-inspired spaces. I've already got one of these in my garage, though. I'm just waiting for some new hardware to come in for it. I have been dying to do a big china cabinet or hutch like this and turn it into a coffee station and some extra storage for my own kitchen, but I haven't been able to find the perfect one yet. They have both of these solid maple units priced at $150, which you might question considering all of the dressers in here are $150 to $200, but these are priced so low because not too many people use them anymore. They just take up too much real estate. These are probably actually worth more as just the bottoms flipped into buffets than the whole thing altogether. I can't fit either of these into my vehicle anyway, so that makes them a definite no for me right now, no matter what. Okay, I picked up the tall boy armoire? Wardrobe. Not sure what to call that one. The one with all the scrolly plastic bits on the doors and the two drawers tucked behind them. I think that's going to make a really cool before and after, and I should be able to resell it at a profit, no problem. Unfortunately, it takes up the entire back of my CRV. I really miss my van. I drove a Dodge Grand Caravan for years with stow and go seats, and when I had everything folded up in that thing, I could fit 2 6-drawer dressers and a pair of nightstands, no problem. This girl, though, she just does not have the capacity. So I am going to pick up a coffee and then I'm going to head home. Thank you so much for coming thrifting with me today. Remember, it's all about looking past what you can see and spotting the potential, sticking to a sensible budget, and being mindful of any hidden issues that might be going on. So if you're looking for a flip, go ahead and visit your local thrift stores. You never know what kind of treasures you might find.